So, Domestic Girlfriends chapters, most likely 229 through 230. I may incorporate 228 in here. I am fully caught up on the series. You know, there's a break, a hiatus for like a week or two. So I was like, I'm just gonna tone it back and wait so I can just, binge 3 chapters in a row. And it worked out perfectly. So, I really don't want to talk about all the gangster stuff and stuff that happened because it's not really playing too much of a role into what I have to say. Looking at what's been going on with Domestic Girlfriend, it's really probably the most confusing time. No one really kind of knows where the story is going to go. The way that the characters are treating each other is actually a lot different than the way they treat, each other within their relationships prior to this. So what exactly am I getting at whenever I say in which the way they treat each other is different, prior to what, the way they're treating each other now? So in terms of the shipping and what's going to be going on, because that's really all we can talk about. All we can talk about is the characters and the relationships right now. We can't really talk about anything else at the moment. So let's start with chapter 229. So this chapter actually really played a big role into what's really essentially going on with the Kajita and Tokiyami Rui relationship. So there is one panel that is crucial to what their relationship is, at least in Rui's eyes. Rui's saying, so let's go. Keep on working hard together. We both came here to make fine food, right? And by the way, I'll never let you outclass me. So that right there is the ultimate friend zone thing I've ever heard in my life. That's not, those romantic undertone moments, the intense moments, and even with Hina and Natsuo, they're not there. They're more comical. They're more light, soft-hearted. Like, it's not the same. It's just different. If you have read 230 chapters of Domestic Girlfriend and you have not noticed this, then I don't know what story you may and or may not be reading. But at the same time, you may just be someone who's confused because the story is being written so, differently right now in terms of the dialogue between the characters, the character interactions. It would make sense to be confused. So when I look at Rui and Tokiyama and or Kajita, I'm just going to call him Kajita, Mr. Chef, man. So if I look at that kind of character, I say, wow, you definitely have a thing for Rui, but Rui definitely still has feelings for Natsuo. She's admitted that. She's openly said, she's left open the potential return to a relationship even. Which, could that be foreshadowing? It could be. It could be. But at the same time, Kajita, it's going to show that he's going to be friend-zoned. You know what I mean? It's just... But let's hop on with Hina, because that's really where I want to go with this talk show podcast, whatever the hell you guys want to call this. We'll just call it a HexCast podcast. So, that's what I consider it. So, looking at Hina and Natsuo, Hina's always made these big sister, brother, sibling kind of, you know what I mean? She's always made these statements, and she's making these statements in the last chapter 230, and it's really weird. She's pushing the sibling thing more so than anything. She's not even wanting to touch the romantic aspect of the relationships. If you look at the panels, her blushing and her acting goofy whenever she's talking to Natsuo, saying, I am your big sister and you just got kidnapped, I need to stay here. It's so, the tension's not there. It's more comical. She brings over a permit. The atmosphere in which the author is setting up is so friend zone. It's so friend zony. You know what I mean? I know friend zony isn't, the zony part's not on there, but it is so friend zony. I should say it's so friend zone-esque. The atmosphere is completely changed. There's no attention. I don't feel that emotional tension. Hell, we even got to see Hina get mad and have this goofy ass look on her face. I mean, it's oh my gosh. I mean, the panel where she's like, and how exactly has living alone worked out for you, Natsuo? As your sister, I can't in good conscience let you keep putting yourself in danger. This was a total sister move. This was not her intentionally trying to make a romantic aspect. Yes, she cares and loves him, and that's part of the reason why she moved in, but the primary objective was not to be getting close to Natsuo. It was literally to just be there so to keep him out of fucking trouble because he almost got killed. And the aspect before wouldn't have been that. It would have been, hey, you want to sneak over? Oh, it would have been, hey, let me say something very, very, very sexual to you. and then kind of blush about it. And then say, okay, I guess. It's not the same Hina. They don't have that relationship to where they're talking about the romantic aspect. I mean, they're talking about, hey, we are siblings. Let's show each other a little respect. I know what our relationship was before, but you can't just be leaving your clothes around. And then he wakes up next morning. Of course, we saw how Hina was laying in bed. And he starts freaking out. The atmosphere has changed. There's been a tone shift. So what does that leave us with? And I know maybe I sounded a little bit repetitive in the last 5 minutes, 4 minutes or so. Well, I won't want to say the whole 4 minutes, 5 minutes. The first half of the yeah, it's about 50-50 split. I probably sounded repetitive for like 2 minutes, 30 seconds, maybe, kind of. I don't know. But I had to make sure to get my point out. So where I'm going with this is, I think the show is really only leaving 2 options to Natsuo, which is weird. And I'm not rooting for, anyone at this exact moment in time. I'm just stating the facts. So we know something that's very, very heavily foreshadowed with Serizawa. At this point, we should know Serizawa is going to make a move. Oh my God. If you do not think Serizawa is going to make a move, I don't know what story you're reading. I don't know if you saw the foreshadowing whenever she was talking to the girl and how Natsuo was missing his watch and how he's been acting. And then her telling Serizawa to make a move and Serizawa kind of like monologuing to herself. She's like, yeah, it's okay now. If you don't think Serizawa was eventually gonna make a move, you are lost. You are lost, my friend. I mean, I love you guys, but wow, you are lost if you think Serizawa is not gonna be making a move. I mean, now let's take a look at Serizawa's panel. Her blushing. You can feel the tension in the panel. You can feel the tension in the atmosphere. Serizawa's flustered. The hearts are fluttered. Every time she gets around him, she's fluttered. And, they talk about her and him, her teaching him how to act. If I end up doing that, you'll have to teach me more, have to teach me the ropes, Serizawa. Even then, I doubt I'll be able to take it on board, though. And then she freaks out. I'll absolutely, be able to practice you and work with you and give you all the advice that you'll ever need. You feel the romantic tension once again with Serizawa. Natsuo covering up her mouth because she's talking too loud. That kind of stuff matters. It's those romantic, undertones. Those are the exact romantic undertones we had before with this series. That panel, chapter 230. Go back and watch it. It's the very last, few panels before we get to see old Smokey working with, at the bar with my boss. The stud muffin. You guys know what I'm talking about, damn it. So we look at Serizawa, we know the move's coming. The writer has already told us the move. She's going to make a move. Whether she succeeds or not, I don't know. I love that because she is my favorite girl. But I don't know. So if I move on and I look at a character like Rui, once again, I backtrack a little bit. It's left it open to the fact. We know that the whole issue with Rui has been with Natsuo. We know Natsuo's had an issue because he hasn't been able to get over the hump literally until chapter 229. So we know those things are happening. Now, there is another panel I want to refer back to for Hina. She's talking to Natsuo being goofy again, and he's like, I didn't know what I'd do if anything had happened to you, Hina says. I didn't know if I could go on living. My heart was about to be split into 2. And then Natsuo responds. Or, excuse me, she goes on to say, Natsuo, we've both ended up helping each other once in life. But I think maybe if we talked more, a lot of this could have, been prevented. So promise me this. In the future, whenever something is bothering you, always come to me. And then he responds, you're right, I'm sorry. That doesn't only go for me. You too, Hina. Sorry to bring this up to you. And even that smile during that freaking scene, you see it's a smile of, I'm happy that you're allowing me to be here for you. It's not that I'm happy that you're allowing me to be here for you in a romantic aspect. No, it's not that at all. The atmosphere has totally changed. Once again, and then immediately after that, they say, we might be siblings, but we're still a guy and a girl, so let's try to be considerate of that, okay? Speaking of which, you dropped your panties on the floor this morning. And then, of course, you have that, once again, the Serizawa scene in bed to where we all know how she's laying and all that stuff, and you freaked out. Of course, that typical cliche, man. It's as if the author is making sure you know, there's no romantic undertones in these scenes. The scenes are so lighthearted. You know, there's no build up to them. They just seem as if they're coming out of nowhere. Like, not in terms of like they're not adding up. Like, this was a long time coming, that conversation about them telling each other about things. But nonetheless, it just seems so different than what it was before. You can clearly tell the writer's trying to put off any Hina, not so romantic undertones now. Now, whether that switches next week, I don't know. But right now, I am telling you, and you should already know, the romantic undertones have freaking shift in this series, man. Like, wow. Like, there's no romantic undertones at all in this series right now. We know that Rui still loves Natsuo. Of course, we know Hina loves Natsuo, but they're doing everything they can to kind of put her and him on screen, but still discard, that kind of emotional atmosphere, romantic atmosphere between the two. And then we look at Serizawa. We know Serizawa has unrequited love for sure. Natsuo does not love Serizawa right now. But now her teaching him how to perform is the biggest scapegoat way I have ever seen in order to get the two characters to hang out to one another. Just think of what they could do, guys. It's a new semester, so this is what the show just straight up told us. This is where we're heading. We're heading into not so potentially trying to act, and Serizawa being his teacher. So that means all the romantic scenes. They got reenacted, all that shit, man. So we have an open-ended relationship. We have a question mark for Serizawa not to return. We have what could be a foreshadow. We have a story that is most definitely about to insert, some screen time between Natsuo, Serizawa. We have Hina, who will be on screen, but nonetheless is also going to be a character that seems to have a past with Natsuo, but isn't going to allow any seeds to be replanted between the two. That's what the author's really doing right now. Whether that changes, I don't know. Whether this is just for the sake of giving Serizawa not so screen time, then coming back to Hina or going back to Rui, it just seems as if the show really is trying to leave an open end to Rui and Serizawa right now. As of right now. The smoker girl, no way. Not right now. Absolutely not. She's out of the picture. Hina's in the picture, but not in a romantic aspect right now. It's just, I don't know, man. It's interesting. I did not know the show would go this route. I did not know that. It's really cool, really different, really unique for really kind of stories in general, but it's really unique for the show in and of itself. I mean, compared to everything, the 220 chapters before these last 10, this show has taken a huge swing in the way it presents itself. So, yeah, that's my that's my podcast for you guys for the Domestic Girlfriend. So I would love to see, of course, comments and stuff, but I mean, guys, I'm not wrong. The way, listen, I know there's Hina fans. There's a lot of them. I know there's a lot of Rui haters, and there's some people that like Rui. I know there's some people that like Serizawa. I know there's some people that like the girl from last arc, the smoker girl. The girl that was addicted. But you gotta take your bias out and just focus on the writing, man. Like for real. Just engage with the show for a second. Just look at the writing. That's just where it's at now. I'm not saying it's gonna turn out like this. So don't just be biased and say no, it's gonna be Hina just because. If you think it's gonna be Hina, go ahead and give me a descriptive you can give me 2 paragraphs on why it will be a certain girl, then I will acknowledge your stance. But if you can't, then man, get the hell out of here, because I just gave you about 15 minutes of why it will be a certain so and so. So, as always, guys, hope you guys did enjoy the HexCast. I will see you guys next time. Peace. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share the cast with other people. So, see you guys later. Peace. Thanks for watching, guys.